With over 43,000 people dead, the war between Israel and Gaza has recently erupted into one of the most violent chapters in its history, and the fallout is rippling through both the humanitarian sphere and political discourse. Within Gaza, airstrikes have scarred neighbourhoods and left behind mass casualties, while within Israel, influential voices are shaping a future that seems increasingly devoid of space for Palestinian statehood. These simultaneous developments reveal a region teetering on the edge of prolonged suffering and intensified polarization, with each day marking new tragedies and hardline declarations that make peace seem all the more elusive. According to the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, the recent days have brought a shocking series of mass casualty incidents, with 7 attacks leaving hundreds dead and wounded between October 22nd and October 29th. The horror began in Jabalia on October 24th, where Israeli airstrikes reduced a residential block to rubble. The devastation affected an entire neighborhood, with reports stating that between 150 to 200 people were killed or wounded in a single strike. Another tragedy unfolded in the Nuseirat refugee camp, where the Ash-Shuhada school, meant to be a place of learning and refuge, was also struck. 17 Palestinians, including 9 children, were killed in this incident, with 52 others severely wounded.
هناك تهديدات من قبل قوات الاحتلال الإسرائيلي للطواقم ولمقدمي الخدمة بضرورة الخروج وترك المركبات، الدفاع المدني والإسعاف والخدمات الطبية، وعدم العمل في إنقاذ المواطنين. وبالفعل تحرك عدد من طواقمنا اتجاه مدينة غزة وتم أسر عدد آخر، وأيضا هناك إصابات في صفوف الطواقم بعد استهدافهم من قبل قوات الاحتلال الإسرائيلي. طبعا هذا الأمر ينعكس بالسلب على المواطن الموجود داخل شمال القطاع. الاحتلال يعني الآن ينفذ خطة الجنرالات بشكل واضح، ويقوم بتهجير المواطنين من منطقة الشمال إلى مناطق أخرى.
That same relentless violence continued through the week, hitting northern Beit Lahia on October 25th and claiming 25 lives in an instant. In each neighborhood, each school and each home that was struck, lives were upended, families were torn apart, and a people already pressed to the edge of survival were left with even fewer means to sustain themselves. In the following days, more airstrikes claimed dozens more lives, including a UNRWA-run school in the Shati refugee camp, and finally, another blow to a Beit Lahia neighborhood left 93 Palestinians dead or missing. With each tragedy, the humanitarian crisis has deepened. Schools and hospitals are in ruins, families are displaced, and survivors face growing shortages of water, food, and medical supplies.
وصواريخ حتى يعني لدرجة إنه إحنا بطلنا نسمع من كتر الصواريخ والطخ والأبات تطخ علينا من الطيارة. صرنا نجري في الشوارع يعني مش عارفين وين نروح. صاروا هم اليهود يقولوا لنا على الشارع العام تبع بيت لاهيا.
The United States, Israel's closest ally, was deeply concerned by the loss of lives in the recent Israeli attacks in northern Gaza.
We are deeply concerned by the loss of civilian life in this incident. This was a horrifying incident with a horrifying result. I can't speak to the total death toll, but there are reports of 24 children killed in this incident. No doubt, a number of them are children who have been fleeing the effects of this war for more than a year now. We have reached out to the government of Israel to ask what happened here.
As the humanitarian situation in Gaza grows even more dire, the ideological landscape within Israel has also been shifting. In a speech that seemed to foreshadow a new approach, Israeli Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich called for the formal annexation of both the West Bank and Gaza. Speaking at the Middle East Summit in Jerusalem, Smotrich proposed a future in which Israel would expand its settlements deep within Palestinian territories, reversing the 2005 withdrawal from Gaza. His vision rejects the two-state solution, one that has long been a point of contention but also a focal point for potential peace. Instead, Smotrich made clear that Israel should aim to solidify control across Palestinian regions, ensuring there would be no Palestinian state. He asserted that civilian settlements were key to sustaining military presence and stability. arguing that without a civilian foothold, Israel's gains in Gaza would be unsustainable. With Gaza bearing the relentless impact of airstrikes and Israel signaling a resolute stance against Palestinian statehood, the international community is left grappling with the limitations of diplomacy in the face of escalating violence and entrenched ideologies. The region, fraught with unresolved tensions and human suffering, remains at an impasse, with every new development pushing the prospect of peace further into the distance. Bureau Report, India Today Global.